So we were discussing the case for economies of scale, internal economies of scale. So when there are internal economies of scale, then what happens is that each country can specialize in a lesser amount of goods. It would not have to specialize in all the production. So it can just trade whatever it is not producing much with the other country, right? What is happening is when it is trading, it is offering to its consumer a wider variety of goods. One thing is for sure. And when consumers are being offered wider variety of goods, the welfare of the nation will increase. Right? So by trading with other countries, what is happening is that whatever goods it is not producing, it can trade with other countries. And simultaneously, what happens is that it is increasing the variety of goods available to its people. To its people. So what is happening is that trade is improving the trade-off. There is a trade-off between the scale and the variety, right? And trade is improving this trade-off. How? Right. So what is happening is that world market, of course, it is going to be bigger than what the domestic market is. And when the market size is going to increase, that is, the number of firms are going to increase, which are going to offer the good, the variety of the products which will be available to consumers, that is also going to increase, right? So trade is creating a larger market for the goods. More number of firms will come into the market and will start producing it. And at the same time, the consumers are going to get the greater variety, and they will have to pay the lesser price also. So what happens is that larger market, it will lead to the lower average price, and it will lead to a greater availability of greater variety of goods. When greater variety of goods are available and the prices which consumers have to pay, that is lesser, that is good for consumers, right? So the consumers welfare is going to increase. You remember what we did something called CC curve and PP curve in the last class. So what was CC curve showing? CC curve is showing the relationship between the number of firms and the average cost. Number of firms and the average cost, right? You remember we said AC is equal to F upon Q plus C. This is what we did in the last class. So if you have not seen that recording, please see the last recording, where Q is the market size upon the number of firms, what each firm is producing. So in place of Q, I can write S upon N plus C. So this thing comes out to be NF upon S plus C, NF upon S plus C. Fair enough. Nothing difficult till now. Now, supposedly market size is increasing. So when market size increases, S increases. When S increases, AC falls. That's what you can see. When S increases, AC falls. For any given N, for any given number of firms, this AC is going to fall. If the market is growing, but the number of firms is being kept constant. If the market is growing and the number of firms is being kept constant, the output per firm is going to increase. Sure enough. So if S is going to increase and the number of firms is constant, then Q is going to increase. If N is constant, S is increasing, then this will lead to increase in Q also. Q is also going to increase, right? The output per firm is going to increase. And AC of each firm is falling. This I've just told you. AC of each firm is falling, right? So what happens is, if there are two CC curves, in one curve, market is smaller. In other curve, market is larger. So the curve which will have a larger market, means larger S, it will have a lower CC curve, right? Then the curve which will have a smaller. So if I just want to draw this, so you have number of firms here, you have cost and price here. So this was one CC curve with, and this is the curve with the smaller, with the larger market, I'm saying, with the larger market. So this CC2 curve is lying below CC1 curve, one thing. We did also something else, if you remember. We did something which was called PP curve. So PP curve is showing the showing the relationship between the number of firms and the price which is charged by each firm, right? You remember the expression which we derived for P, which was C plus 1 upon B into L. So there is no S in this expression. So in case if there is, this is independent of S. So even if the market size is increasing, decreasing, whatever, P is not going to change. When P is not going to change, there is no shift in the PP curve, even with an increase in the market size. So the PP curve, it will remain same, right? PP curve, it will remain same like this. So there is no shift in the PP curve because S is not coming into the picture. If you remember, so their intersection, CC and PP curve, is giving you the equilibrium number of firms and the price and the average cost which is being charged. So this is point 1, where CC1 curve and PP curve is intersecting. It is giving you the number of firms N1 and the price P1. This is point 2, which is giving you the number of firms N2 and the price P2. So what has happened is, when there is an increase in the market size, firms, I mean, of course, firms, they can produce more. Their average cost is falling. And this fall in the average cost is being represented by the downward shift of the CC curve. At the same time, there is an increase in the number of firms because their average cost is falling. More firms can probably come into the picture, come into the market. So the number of firms is increasing. And there are more variety of goods which are being available to the consumers. At the same time, price is also falling. So this is very good for consumers. No? So when there is an increase in S, other things being equal, right? One, each firm produces more. Each firm produces more, right? And does have lower AC. This we have, and this is represented by downward shift of CC curve. One thing, right? The result is that there is a simultaneous increase in the number of firms. And when the number of firms is increasing, the variety of goods which are available to the consumers, that is also increasing. And hence there is an increase in the variety of goods available also. Right? And at the same time, there is decrease in the price. Right? This is very good for consumers. Consumers, they are having greater variety of goods and they have to pay a lower price. This is very good for the consumers. So the consumers would definitely want to be a part of that market which is larger, right? So because it is such a larger market is providing them with a greater variety of goods and they have to pay a lower price, right? So this is what I wanted to do in this class. Thank you, Beta.